Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. Last time we kept going with the Void Crusade, and we will jump back into that once we do a little bit of inventory change. So, I just got this as a weekly reward, so we're gonna toss this on, since it is another Plasma Caliber Alpha. We'll see how it goes. Should get deal damage. 2 of them are deal damage, 100,000. We should be able to get those done. Do damage with critical hits, maybe can do. Suffer damage, maybe, but we'll at least get some of that started. I'd like to move that into the back. I'll probably actually move this into storage, just so I keep it around. Same as this main implant, since it's 100 quality higher, I figure that's probably worth at least unlocking, seeing what we get. Yeah, it sucks losing the chance to burn on critical hit, and the loot quantity, but we'll see what we can get out of it. Push comes to shove, we go back to a level 11 item. I'm hoping for the best here, because I'd rather not have to go back. But, next mission is this one. Ooh, that 68% heat resist is gonna hurt, but it should be fine. There we go. Everybody's out now. So I'm recording this just few days before it comes out instead of my usual 2-week stint, because the day this comes out, which should be Thursday, is Summer Games Fest. So, as of recording, I'm hoping something good gets announced. I'm really, really hoping. I don't know what. I figure Sony's gonna have to have more stuff. They gotta flex nuts in front of everybody else. They can have their pretty mediocre individual show because they don't have to show up for anybody else. They can sit there and show just garbage and then save all the big dick swingers for Games Fest when they can be like, oh, check it out. Or I could be wrong and you could watch this either before or after the Summer Games Fest starts and go, oh god, he was wrong, they just didn't have crap. I'm hoping they have something. What? I don't know. I know I had mentioned it before. EPCI, EPSI, whatever your name is, mentioning MAG. It would be great. Part because I've been working on a video for it, but part of my research, I've been watching the trademarks for that whole brand for a while, and the last time it got trademarked was... Actually, I can look it up right now. It's not trademark, it's copyright. I was wrong, it actually was trademark. And last time it was trademarked was 2020. And it's part of the video, so I'm not going to go too deep into it. But I think that got abandoned. I'm not sure. I have my feelers out, but I don't know much at the moment. Hoping for the best, though. I really don't know what Sony really has to show. I was thinking like Ubisoft, even though they have their own Ubisoft showcase on the 12th. So next week. I'm not gonna hold off recording for that and be like, oh, nah, it's Ubisoft. My guess is they'll have Rainbow Six stuff for the Division, Heartland, I don't know, maybe a new Far Cry. Past that, it would have to be like new stuff, and that could be either really good or really bad. Maybe we'll see stuff for Beyond Good and Evil, but I don't know. That game has been in development longer than Duke Nukem Forever, so it's hard to have a lot of faith. What would be really cool for Ubisoft, actually they could do another Watch Dogs, but what would be really cool is if they decided to surprise everyone and be like, hey, new South Park game. I just don't know what direction they'd take the game, because Stick of Truth covered kind of fantasy RPG, D&D, LARP kind of deal, and did a good job. And then Fractured But Whole did superheroes, and did a fantastic job lampooning everything about superheroes. So, what's next? And I don't really know what direction they could go off the top of my head. So, I don't think we'll see anything for that. It'd be cool if we did, but I'm not expecting much. Oh, another Ghost Recon. They could do another Ghost Recon. Man, I'm still bummed by Ghost Recon. They could have done really cool stuff with that. They should have just said screw it and went back to old school Ghost Recon. Like, PlayStation 2 level. Because I remember having squad mates that had different, like, stat breakdowns. So some guys were, like, more accurate and stuff. That needs to make a comeback. Permadeath for characters should be a thing for more games. Especially with this push for, like, extraction shooters. You could blend that in as a co-op / PvE deal. And I love permadeath. I love stuff like XCOM. I wish we'd get a new XCOM. Oh my god. I'm still annoyed that Firaxis left XCOM 2. The ending essentially screams Terror from the Deep. They go underwater, it's all spooky. It should have been Terror from the Deep. And then Chimera Squad, it felt like an attempt at them being like, hey, should we do XCOM Apocalypse again? And just seeing, will people, vibe with having Muton squad mates and all this stuff. And I'd be for it. I liked Apocalypse. It was weird, but I was for it. Because sometimes you gotta have a little bit of weird in these games. I would appreciate a full reboot again, but I mean, actually, it's been almost like 10 years. They could get away with a reboot. And I'd take it. Genuinely, I would take a reboot. Just because the difference in, like, in how these games have evolved, I feel like XCOM has kind of started to backslide. I mean, they were backsliding in the beginning. But just with the hero squad mentality of like, oh, you have the good guys, and if they die, your whole run is essentially washed. I think that's a terrible design choice. It enforces save scumming. It doesn't feel like a war against aliens. It feels like an 80s action movie. Without the fun of an 80s action movie. Things like Xenonauts and Phoenix Point do a really good job at just being like, yeah, people are gonna die. There's not a lot of levels to these characters. They level up pretty fast. They've got their own little... Phoenix Point has their own little quirks. So some guys get, like, viral damage. 1 extra point whenever they attack. Minor thing, not that big a deal. But it makes the characters feel unique. And I'm all for it. I think stuff like that should be in games. Crime Boss Rockay City does it. Where the thugs have unique traits. It's great. A little wonky at times, but who cares? That's unexpected. Have to hold on to that bad boy. Here I was like, oh, I'll just hit that, that'll be like a purple. That's worth like 2,000 Caligari credits. No, it's a red. That's an Archaeotech relic schematic. I am pleased. And this whole run is over already. Damn. Quick gear mulch, just get that out of the way. I shouldn't have sold that. I still needed that. I don't craft stuff anyways. Who cares? Okay, chance to create demons, increase champion numbers, resist for champions, more champions. Okay. But for going back to the discussion of, like, Summer Games Fest, my other predictions are we might see something for Microsoft regarding, oh god, what is it? State of Decay 3. I would actually be interested in that. I like State of Decay. I think it has some issues, like you should be able to set respawn timers on loot, just because otherwise you have to join other people's games and then you can kind of harvest loot from there and it won't count against the host. It's a really stupid system, and I would rather just be able to play in an area eternally and just have fun instead of having this weird, like, not leeching but also kind of leeching system. It just doesn't feel rewarding. And it's so convoluted. But I think that might be something in State of Decay 3, because there was talk of it being worked on, and there's still stuff being added on to State of Decay 2, which makes me think they're just testing some of the Plague Heart features, which is fine. Other than that, maybe a new Forza game, maybe Halo Infinite DLC, like a story thing. But I don't know if they'd really want to go that route. Mostly because I think they're still trying to fix Halo Infinite and make it not suck. I'd really like a Halo Wars 3, but I don't think we're going to see that. Short of that, maybe a Gears of War. The Coalition has been real quiet lately. So now would be kind of the time to step up and be like, hey, here's something to play, guys. Other than that, I can't think of much. I feel like everybody's kind of in this weird lull. No one really wants to make anything, it almost feels like. But I'm hoping Summer Games Fest is good. We need good news for gaming. I don't know really what else they could announce or have. I'm trying to think, like Capcom. Street Fighter's out, so they don't really have anything to announce there. I don't know, maybe a new Monster Hunter? That feels really soon, though. And I feel like they wouldn't want to do that yet. We already know about Dragon's Dogma 2. Might get a little more on that. I don't think we're going to get any news on Resident Evil. Unless they are just ambitious as hell, but that's too much, because RE4 Remake just came out. There's no way they'd be like, hey, here's RE5, or here's Code Veronica. I'd love a remake of Code Veronica. Preferably fixing up a lot of the issues, like get rid of the tank controls and all that. Make it a proper, like, reimagining, rather than just like RE4 where it was more or less almost an identical redo. Just, they got rid of, I think, U3, one of the... It's like the boss fight where the guy's like a scorpion centaur monster. Like, they got rid of that fight, which I don't really know why, but whatever. Not a big deal. But other than that, yeah, I'm not sure. I did see something interesting, though. And this I had to laugh, because Apple just did their announcement for their whole, hey, here's our new thing, buy the new thing deal. They are making augmented reality goggles, which they look like ski goggles. Just without frames. It's just like all glass or whatever material they're using. It's a 2-hour lifespan from what I'm seeing, which already 2-hour battery life is not a good sign. I don't care who you ask. That's a movie. Not even some movies. So, already not looking too good. And the next thing is, each unit is $3,500. I'm not paying $3,500 for augmented reality tech that will become obsolete in a year. I saw some people go, yeah, I'll just wait until Samsung makes their version for like $389. And I was like, yeah, I would. This tech is not worth that money. And Google already tried this with Google Glasses, and it failed. And I know their price point was less than over $3,000. So, I can't imagine they're really gonna pan out well. But at the same time, Apple has become like a boutique tech store. It's like Gucci, but for people who want to have a phone or a computer that babies them. Which is fine, it's just... people are paying out the ass for this stuff. It's like, I'm sorry, I'm not paying obscene amounts of money for their crap when there's equal or better stuff for far cheaper. Was that the whole map? Yeah, that was. Alright, is this worthwhile? I mean, it takes up a summon slot, so I have to say no. I'm gonna store that. But let's check quick how our new gear is doing. Almost everything's done, we just have to do suffer damage. Which I didn't expect would be that difficult, but I guess I don't really take much damage. HP gained on critical hit, increased critical hit chance, critical hit strength, increased damage. All around, that's not bad. I can't really complain. Enter focus state when suppression status is protected. Resistances when suppression is protected. Suppression reject. It's not bad. Because it's just, hey, keep your suppression high and you get a bunch of bonuses. Is it dumb? Yeah. We'll stick to it right now. Honestly, the extra HP is worth it alone. And I believe we got a lot of attributes, actually. Ah, see, now we're stuck because I could do either or. We'll just go for all that. 25% damage. Who can say no to just raw damage output? If they die faster, it means I have a lower chance of dying myself. Plus, the next stat points we get, I'm just going to dump into the resistances or whatever that was. Plus, it'll give me extra health, so who cares? It works out. But that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.